So, y'all, instead of going out with a bang, I'll say Handmaid's Tale, the series finale, we went out with a sweet whimper.
Eyes on me, apply that. Get it, don't be timid when you ain't apply that. Love up on it, give along, leave it. I don't want no trip, baby, spend like it.
My name is Ashley, and this is My Sweet Perspective, where I give my take on all things TV and movie related, and I am here to put you on, okay? Welcome back to the channel, you guys. You already know what it is. Y'all have been riding with me for this entire last season of Handmaid's Tale. So many new faces. So thank you so much for being here. If you haven't already, please make sure you're subscribed so your next series that I'll be talking about or covering. Y'all, it's time to get into it. Like I said, I think I expected the world in this final episode, but what we got was a sweet ending to a series that has been near and dear to our hearts for years now. So let's get into it. We know that after the penultimate episode, Nick's a goner, Commander Wharton's a goner, Lauren's a goner in the red, white, and blue. You know what I mean? Bombs bursting in the air and all of that jazz. And now it's the aftermath of all of it, right? America had come in. We saw that June was spirited away. But now we discover that Captain Jane Sparrow is lost. We don't know where Auntie Lydia is. A lot of people have been separated. And now we're just trying to figure out what life is like now post Gilead in Boston, because now Boston is officially a part of America again and the dust is settled. Our mains have made it. That's what we do know at this point. Everyone, like I said, except for Captain Jane Sparrow. We see Moira, we see Luke, we see a plethora, Rita, we see all of the favorites, right? And they're there. And as the episode goes through, I'll just focus on the key points because it was a very slow, I don't want to say melodramatic. I don't want to say melodramatic because it was special, and everything I think that they did made sense because again, it's not a season finale, it's a series finale. So we're shutting the doors and painting the landscape after the show has ended. So we eventually see a montage of June and Nick, and I'm going to sit here for a minute. Because the way y'all have been tussling in that comment section, somebody had the audacity to say that Nick SA'd June. You demon seed. I don't know where you got that. Last time I checked, he was a driver and he was made to procreate with June. I'm just saying. I don't know, but what we do find is a June reminiscing on these moments because now he gone. He went on to be with somebody. I don't know if he was with the Lord the way he had that evil smirk on his face on the plane, but he's no longer on this earthly plane. And June is going back from their first touch, from the first moment that they met. And I don't know how anyone can play Monday morning quarterback and come in here and say that he was evil the entire time. Was he wrong the entire time? Yes. Evil? No. And I think there's a distinction. And what I find very, very interesting is how people will accept a character or a person, even in real life, as long as their actions suit them. There is this acceptance, right? Because I did not hear the outrage for Nick until this season. Never heard it. Never heard it. Now, I wasn't covering it in the early seasons, but I've been in comment sections. I've been on the socials, and I have not seen the animus towards Nick as long as he was serving June's purpose. I'm not saying Nick was right. I've never said that. What I've said that, though, is that everything he's done up to this point that we've seen him do, a good amount of it was for June at the detriment of himself at times, because Nick could have been unalived several times doing the bidding of June. And so anyway, she's remembering this fondly, right? Because for better or worse, whatever y'all think, there was a love there. Like I said, what was it, right? No, she's a married woman and he is a part of the regime that was brutalizing them, but he's also the one who helped her get out or tried to facilitate that. So Lawrence got her out, but you know what I mean? So it's just interesting. It's interesting people's take on people once their purpose is no longer serving you, or once you feel as though they've betrayed you. And I'll just set it right there. June ultimately made the right decision, not warning him, letting him get on that plane, because this was a Nick that I hadn't met before. Y'all say he was like this the whole time, but he wasn't to me. Now, June is the ultimate absentee mom, because now that all this is done, we know that June is going to pick up another mission, because Holly gets back her mama with the baby, and we see this brief reunited and it feels so good moment. And then immediately June is like, well, mom, can you keep her? Can you take her? Because I have another mission now. So June, what is it? Every person on this memorial, this missing wall, you're going to not be satisfied until you bring them all home. And everyone is saying, this is around Hannah. This is around Hannah. Hannah is a grown ass woman at this point. The last time June made a mission to save Hannah, Hannah was like, hell nah. Depart from me. I never knew you. I don't, lady, I'm happy. I'm content where I am. And so I think this quest, this never ending quest, isn't serving her actual baby that she has. And I feel like June gets a pass for a lot of things. And like I said, I don't hate her character, but she's not a good character. You can't stop living because this one part of your life went awry. And you're not Captain Save-A-Ho. You've done enough. You have a responsibility to your child. This child no longer has a father. You're the mother, and your baby's not even going to know who you are when it's all said and done. Not even going to recognize you at this point. But y'all can go off and say that it's great and that she's this whatever, but it'll be interesting. So again, June is the ultimate absentee mom, and she chooses another fight, of course, and leaves her child behind. And now she's going to write a book. Her mom encourages her. June, this is your background. You're a writer. You're going to write a book about what happened to you here in Gilead. And so we actually spend the latter half of the episode retracing those steps and going back to the house where it all started, and June seeing herself as a shadow of the person that she used to be. This honestly gave PTSD. For anybody who watched and journeyed through all of these seasons, it was a lot. Super heavy, sitting in the same room. And y'all remember the Handmaid before and her special carve out, and all of those feelings were there when we go back into the old Waterford home. And she's sitting there dealing with it. There was a beautiful callback to season 1 where we see of Glenn. Now, y'all shocked me with that one, because I had read articles prior to the release of this season that said she would not be back in any capacity. So it was awesome to get to see her in this final season walking with June, and as they're walking by the wall, and now we don't see the Gilead undesirables on the wall. We actually see the guardians. And it's like, although the regime is shifting, we see that there's still going to be remnants and practices that are in place. The same when we see Mark, and now he's Commander Mark, right? So anyway, they're walking, and again, it gives of Glenn and of Fred walking together, trying to fill each other out and discover if this is a person that I can trust. We find out that of Glenn has been a Martha to I guess, a commander who was sympathetic to her cause. She has been in contact with her son and her wife and all of those things. And it was just a moment of refresh. Now, there was the next scene that we go to where we're at the bar and we see all of the gang there. We also find Captain Jane Sparrow. Aunt Lydia brings her back over the lines, and she goes back to Gilead. Naomi drops off the baby, which y'all are just crossing the I's, or crossing the T's and dotting the I's at this point, because I was like, what? We didn't even know Captain Jane Sparrow was alive. And so immediately we get her back, and then she's reunited with her daughter. And my question is Captain Jane Sparrow fit to be a mom at this point? Intensive outpatient therapy is needed for everyone. And I just don't know, with all of the trauma that she's endured, if she's immediately ready to take on the responsibility of being a full-time mom again. But you guys let me know about that, because I don't know. But again, of Glenn, Offred, it was That part was chef's kiss, and dare I say, a G almost shed a tear, but I was watching it live, doing a live reaction on YouTube. Go check it out. So a tear didn't quite fall, but it would have if I was watching this alone. I promise you. So again, Mark is a commander now. No room in the inn for Serena Joy. Serena Joy again lands on her feet. She's at a shelter with the baby. She's got 2 diapers and a Walmart bag, and she's a single mom who works 2 jobs. And honestly, even in this moment, all Serena Joy can think is, I'm nothing. I'm no one. I have no status. I have no role. I have no position. And again, it's just true to the nature of who Serena Joy is. And even the moments that she has with her baby alone when the shelter's letting her know, no room in the inn. We don't even allow babies here. I don't know what you're going to do, but you're going to have to get out of here. You don't have to go home, but you have to get out of here. And she's like, you're all I need, right? Baby, you're all I need. You're all I need. You're more than enough. I love you. I'm blessed. I'm blessed because I have you. Serena Joy is Serena Joy is Serena Joy. Although a portion of her mindset has shifted, specifically as it relates to the handmaids, the regime, Gilead, this was a part of her brainchild. She still stands firm on the ideals of Gilead, and we got that throughout. It's just that now she can't stomach the handmaid of it all because she got a true look. Serena Joy, and I still wish her nothing but the worst. But we'll see. She's a survivor and she always lands on her feet, unfortunately. So there's that. But you guys, honestly, those are the moments and things that stood out to me. Of course, we're going back over Boston a lot, and we're retreading the steps that we have treaded throughout June's journey. I would have really loved to see some flashbacks. Other than the flashbacks with Hannah and this other new little Hannah that they had, I wanted more there. And I also I wanted finality on Hannah. Now, I will say I did a little bit of digging after seeing you guys' comments about the testaments and what we can anticipate with that. So I did a little bit of digging. And so the testaments was written by Margaret Atwood in 2019, and it has been purchased by Hulu. So it is in the works. We don't have an official release date yet, or we haven't at the time of me recording this video, but this will take place 15 years after the events of The Handmaid's Tale. And Aunt Lydia will be narrating, but it didn't say that she was actually going to be in it. So I'm very curious about that. Also, it looks like our lead is going to be someone named Hannah. Is this our Hannah? Y'all drop it in the comments and let me know. Again, we have been on a journey through writer strikes, through ups and downs with Handmaid's Tale, through season 5, which 4 and 5 were not my favorite seasons, but we've endured. And I think this was a solid final season. Again, the finale going out with a sweet whimper instead of a bang, but I think it was meaningful for those of us who have watched from the beginning. I did want a little bit more though. I can't lie. I did. I wanted to be laid out prostrate crying after this episode, and I just wasn't. I just wasn't. Oh, let me not leave him out because you've been riding Luke all this time. And I had to give a breakdown to somebody over there in the TikTok streets because they think I hate Luke. I don't hate Luke. I hated the relationship that he had with June. I feel like of all of the male characters, Luke was my least favorite. And not because he wasn't everything to June that she needed him to be. It's because he was nothing to himself. Does that make sense? He was everything to her at the cost of who he was as a man to me. He didn't have autonomy. He seemed like his whole entire world shifted and centered around her whims. While she's doing this and doing these missions, he was kind of cuckolded in a way. You know what I mean? I'm sitting back to watch you experience love, to have these adventures, and I am just home taking care of another man's baby. So in this final episode, we do see him with a purpose. We do see him with a mission. And the only tie that really binds them at this point is the hope of a Hannah. And maybe that was their intention in writing this final episode, leaving that open-ended, that she's going to be on her quest, he'll be on his quest, but their North Star will always be Hannah. I'm just glad he finally has some gumption and he's doing something for himself, because while it's great and we all love a man to be there for their wife, at some point you got to stand up. That's all I wanted Luke to do, was to stand up. And I think we got to see a glimmer of that at the end of this. But you guys, thank you so much for watching. Thanks so much for riding this season out with me. Please be sure to drop a comment. Be sure to subscribe, do all of the things. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.